behaviour, whether that be towards other spectators, players, officials or referees, will strictly not be tolerated and patrons will be affected if required. There's to be no jumping onto the ground at any time during or after the game by spectators, and the lighting of flares or throwing of any other projectiles is strictly prohibited, and any offenders caught will result in your immediate eviction from the venue with a long-term ban by the club. There is strictly no smoking or vaping in or around the pavilion and grandstand areas. For those standing in the grandstand, please ensure that you do not stand in any denials or walkways, otherwise you will be asked to move on by the marshals and security personnel. We will be ensuring that alcohol is served responsibly this evening, and also please remember to put your rubbish in the bins at all times. There are plenty of bins located around the ground, so please make sure that you're disposing of food and drinks appropriately. It makes it a whole lot easier for our club volunteers when cleaning up after the game. Also, remember to go and check out our fantastic new club merchandise, which is available from the merchandise tent, which is located directly behind the main grandstand. Together with our merchandise partner Umbro, we've got a great selection of Preston gear available, ranging from play jerseys, polo shirts, jackets, wind cheaters, t-shirts, caps, beanies, scarves, badges, and a whole lot more. We do have FCOS available at the merchandise tent, so make sure you head on over and pick something out for yourself. And of course, wear your Preston gear with pride. Also, just a reminder to everybody of the exit arrangements that have been put in place following the conclusion of tonight's game. All of the away team supporters who are located at the southern end of the ground, which is the area immediately to your left as you enter the ground from the front gate, will be allocated approximately 10 to 15 minutes post-game to exit the venue, so we kindly ask that you please follow the directions of your club officials and marshals and leave the precinct properly following the final whistle. And during this time, we'll also kindly ask our home team supporters located at the northern end of the ground, as well as in the main grandstand and inside the pavilion, to kindly remain in those areas for that brief 10-15 minute period following the game. And following that, thank you in advance, ladies and gentlemen, for your cooperation to ensure that you're all home safely this evening. Please remember to obey the instructions and directions provided by our marshals, and to be respectful of our nearby neighbours as you make your way back to your vehicles. Okay, we're not too far away from the players making their way out onto the ground as we count down to the kick-off, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Lights, camera, action. The curtain rises on Victoria's showpiece fixture. 58 years on from their first ever meeting on a September afternoon at Middle Park, this rivalry burns as bright as ever. It's a celebration of Australia's storied history in football and a preview of its burgeoning potential. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Geneseo Stadium for the big show, the main event. It's Preston Lions versus South Melbourne. We're expected to have between 8,000 and 9,000 packed in, all told, here tonight. There's a line of fans snaking around into the car park and over the back pitches, so it may be some time before we see this crowd swell to its fullest potential. But the night begins, however, on a sombre note. A minute's silence for former Preston president and passionate supporter Rob Kalevsky, who tragically passed away this week at the age of 41.
Earlier this week, and now kindly ask that you please be upstanding and join with the players, referees and team officials as we observe a minute's silence to mark the passing of one of the club's great characters and true supporters. Robco, as he was affectionately known, absolutely lived and breathed for Preston. It was his enduring passion. This was epitomised by the many roles he undertook in and around the club over many years, including committee member, standing president, major sponsor, volunteer, active supporter and junior player. He was always a constant presence around the club who never once wavered in his support. And more importantly, he was one of the very few who stood up to be counted when the club was at its lowest point not too long ago, and his selfless contribution in very challenging times will never be forgotten. As we all take a moment to remember him, remember that infectious smile and that burning voice chanting and singing from above for his beloved Preston Macedonia. Tonight we honour and pay tribute to the late Robert Kalevsky.
Dale Robert Kalevsky, gone from us too soon. Our hearts go out to his friends, his family, and especially the two children he leaves behind. After a dramatic final day promotion from VPL 1 and an off-season recruitment spree, 7 new arrivals feature in Preston's starting lineup this evening. The Lions have defeated South Melbourne just twice in 17 games at this venue, but find themselves above the reigning minor premiers in the table, unbeaten in 4 games on their top-flight return. Head coach Louis Atsevsky makes 2 changes to the team that drew against Heidelberg last Friday, with goalscorer Luke Jego elevated to the starting lineup, replacing former South stalwart Marcus Schroen, who drops to the bench. Defender Michael Boffey is left out in favour of Dom Felino, who makes his first appearance of the season at left-back, while under-23s goalkeeper Jacob Ognanovsky is included on the bench. South Melbourne coach Esteban Quintas faced heavy criticism after resting 7 of his first-choice team in Monday night's 3-0 home loss to St Albans. But his decision to shuffle his pack merely confirmed what we already knew. Tonight's derby just means more. Quintas has recalled his heavy artillery, making 8 changes to his starting 11 with the return of Noel Bernarda, Jordan Lampard, Andy Brennan, George Mells, Ross Archibald, Lucas Inglese and Jack Painter-Andrews. Only Jake Marshall, Marko Jankovic and Max Nicola retain their starting places. South Melbourne will miss 3-time Victorian Goalkeeper of the Year, Javi Lopez, who was withdrawn through injury just after half-time against Dinamo. It's a huge night for 20-year-old backup keeper Jonathan Pathoulis, who makes his starting debut for the club. My name is Josh Parrish, and I'm delighted to be joined in commentary this evening by Mark Ivkovic. Ivka, what a spectacle.
Yes, good evening, Josh. Well, what a 90 minutes we've got ahead of ourselves. Forget the occasion itself, the actual contest on the pitch is going to be a great spectacle. As you said, it's a very different Preston Lions side that faced South Melbourne last year in the Doherty Cup. This is a Preston side that is undefeated and are here to compete for the title this season. And what a statement they can make tonight if they can take all 3 points. And for South Melbourne, well, they've backed themselves into a corner after Monday night's debacle against St Albans. As you said, 8 changes to the lineup and nothing but 3 points will be acceptable for them tonight. So as they say in the classics, let's get ready to rumble.
Love it, Ivka. This place is absolutely heaving. Jenna Steele Stadium packed to the rafters as South Melbourne are awarded an early free kick. Matt Bozanovsky at fault. The man in charge tonight, Sam Kelly, who is New South Wales Referee of the Year in 2023 and 2024. It's his first game here in Victoria, but such is the magnitude of the fixture, the referees department has decided to import some talent from interstate.
Smart move, I think, by Football Victoria. That way, neither coach can finger point and say that there's some bias. Obviously, he's just coming from a different state. He's got no opinion on the league or the clubs themselves.
Big set-piece chance for South Melbourne. It's George Mells over the dead ball. Swung into the danger zone and Bon Scott goes with the punch. Andy Brennan with the first shot of the night and it sails way over the Preston goal, prompting the ironic jeers.
That will relieve a bit of tension in the Preston Lions defence just to deal with that early on in the game. Probably could have parried it a little bit better. Bon Scott, be disappointed he didn't get enough distance on that punch.
Well, it's going to take some time to get the ball back.
It is absolutely packed.
That's got to be 10, 15 deep behind the Preston goal. There are still fans waiting to get in. We can see just between the grandstand and the VIP pavilion, the line stretches beyond halfway on the back pitch, for the back entrance to the grounds. Of course, if you didn't come with plenty of time to spare, parking would be at a premium in the side streets of Reservoir tonight. Bernarda up against Payos, no whistle. Bozanovsky goes back to Bon Scott. An early nerve settler for the Preston custodian. Jankovic, anywhere will do. Negro elects not to play back to his keeper. This is Anderson. Switch of play. Out to Albano, and now Preston come forward for the first time tonight. Foligno providing the overlap. Albano's going to go for goal. Well, had Pathoulis scrambling, but always drifting wide of the target.
You can see a bit of that early on in the game, Josh. Pathoulis' his starting debut. We saw him come on for pretty much a full half against St Albans. Didn't have too much to do on Monday night, but geez, what a game to make your full debut for the club. So I'm sure the Preston attack will be testing him nice and early.
Well, Javi Lopez, 3-time reigning NPL Victoria Goalkeeper of the Year. Since the inception of that award, no other player has won it more than twice. Louis Atsevsky being one of those players, the Preston head coach. But they will miss him dearly. The irony for South being they rested so many players and perhaps their most important player, suffers the injury.
And that's probably the one player you don't want to be without.
Well played out by Preston. Jago stretching and can't corral the ball. Archibald. Kubalay in the way. He was an injury concern coming into this game, Ollie Kubalay. Withdrawn as a precaution after about an hour against Heidelberg last week. It enabled Luke Jago to get on the pitch and eventually score the equalising goal.
I think he deserves a start tonight, Luke Jago. Smart move by Lubiosevsky, bringing him into the starting 11. His energy in that number 10 role is something that Preston needs tonight.
This is Leighton Brooks. Too many blue shirts surrounding him, but Brooks with 3 goals in his first 4 Preston appearances. Scott's baiting the press. Bernardo almost got there. Preston trying to play out, but Anderson couldn't find an angle to Stefan Negro. South have played pretty high up the park in these opening exchanges, and now, if you're watching South Melbourne for the first time tonight, get used to this. Max Mikola has a Rory Delap style cannon long throw, which has led to so many South goals over his 3 seasons at the club. They are an absolute nightmare to defend. It's flicked on at the near post, away by Bozanovsky this time. Mikola tries to hook it back in. Flicked on by Jankovic. And a strike on goal from Brennan. And he's getting closer.
That's the danger with South's throw-ins and corners, is their second phase of play. You know, just when you think you've dealt with it, they tend to do quite well with that second entry because you've kind of fallen asleep thinking you've dealt with the initial delivery. And that's nearly what happened there, Josh. It's a poor clearance there from Anderson, and Brendan probably should have done better with that attempt.
Throwing back to Anderson. Jankovic in the way. Some encouraging feedback from his manager, Marko Jankovic. Was uncharacteristically shaky against Dinamo on Monday night. I guess you could say the same about the entire South Melbourne backline.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed with his performance on Monday night, but I'm sure he'll be right up for this one tonight. And that's probably the difficult thing for Preston tonight, is to break down the South defence, who's a wounded animal at the moment.
Brooks. Jinx past Lampard. Danger now for South Melbourne, and Painter Andrews forced to turn it behind for a corner.
Seen South Melbourne lose too many games over the years, and especially with the way they played on Monday night, so they've got a massive point to prove tonight.
It's Emil Payos, the former South Melbourne player, on corner duties. This one goes short to Albano. And maybe a long-range hit from Anderson. It was always a hopeful one. A despondent shake of the head from Mark Ivkovic in commentary. You're not a fan of the short corners, Mark?
It's my pet hate in football, is a short corner. Rarely do they work out. They've got an opportunity for a direct cross into the penalty area, put some pressure on the defence. It's a perfect example of why I don't play a short corner.
Well, if the end result is your centre-back taking a shot from 30 metres out plus, probably not the best strategy. Although, South Melbourne do have some big bodies in the penalty area.
It's a fair point, but still I prefer a direct cross into the box.
Bozanovsky, did he have hands on Archibald? He did, in the opinion of Sam Kelly. George Mells on dead ball duty. Marshall got ahead to it, but no real purchase. And Bon Scott was quick off his line. High pelt in the direction of Jago. Lampard winning out. Jankovic got there first. And Lampard and Brooks contesting. Lobbed forward by Lampard. Preston get this away now. Negro can't keep it in field. It's largely been South Melbourne with the territory. Negro up to Romero, who hit the deck. Referee not interested. Jankovic. See a bit of confusion there in the Preston press as to whose man that was. Work it out to Inglese on the far side, but the switch of play is well offline.
They could have done better in that situation, Josh. Jankovic kind of drifted in there and wasn't sure of where to play that ball. Could have been on a good counter-attack if the right press was on.
Esteban Quintas is prowling his touchline. The atmosphere in here is absolutely sensational. Anderson away as far as Mikola. Foligno. Now Kubalay. Finding Albano, and Preston can go in transition here. Albano jinking inside. Romero out to Brooks to cross. Decent delivery from Brooks. South Melbourne scramble it away through Inglese.
Tell you what, South Melbourne are very, very organised tonight, especially defensively. You saw how many numbers they had back into the area there. It's going to be a hell of a night for Preston to break them down.
You can see 5 at the back when they defend. Lucas Inglese happy to drop in. They have tinkered with back 4s and back 5s depending on the game. It's often something that Esteban Quintas will change if it's not going well. Mikola. It's nice to have a player like Inglese who can have a foot in both camps and be the tactical switch without even having to make a substitution.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having Inglese in your side. He's a very adaptable player. But, there's an old football saying, Josh, don't score against Brazil because you used to anger them. There's one I'm going to go with, don't defeat Esteban Quintas in the style that you did on Monday night, because you can tell he's a wounded animal on that touchline, and his troops are rallying behind him tonight.
Jankovic breezing past the challenge. Inglese. Painter Andrews on the far side. Mikola was the target. He's never finding him.
It was the wrong ball, but gee, South Melbourne are playing quite a high line tonight. Not something we're used to seeing from them. Definitely getting numbers forward when they've got the ball.
We've seen it a little bit more this season, in fairness, because with Andy Brennan and Noel Bernardo as your strike force, you've just got so much mobility and energy up there. You may as well press.
Yeah, 100%. It is different to the South Melbourne we've seen over the last few years. We even see Mikola pushing forward too.
Lampard waits a lovely ball in behind. Here's Noel Bernardo to the byline. Across the box, and Anderson gets it half clear. Jago puts his head in. And South Melbourne cough up possession.
Caught napping a little bit there, Negro. was a great run from Bernardo, though, to sneak in behind.
What a ball from Lampard.
We're used to seeing that from Lampard. When it does work with his delivery, it's very dangerous for South Melbourne's attacking opportunities.
It's seeing Glaze in midfield in this sort of phase, and then when Preston get into South Melbourne's half, he'll drop in and be an extra body in the box.
He's moving around everywhere, isn't he? Look at him. 5 metres left, 5 metres right.
No detail is left to chance. South Melbourne are involved. Brooks, Kubalay. Glaze, a little late there. Coughs up the free kick.
Even see then when they're defending, Josh, that Mikola's tucking in as a fullback and Lampard's going more central, so they've got about 4 centre-backs at times when they're defending.
Tough to unpick, especially for a Preston side with so many new faces. They haven't fully gelled this season, despite sitting second in the table.
Very high line from South Melbourne here.
Inviting Preston to sling one into the box. It's Payos. Looking for Bozanovsky. It's too deep. It might drop here for Romero. And Pethulis comes out to smother. Now Albano. Brooks can't control it. It was just behind Bozanovsky. Brooks checking onto his left and completely mishitting. Might have been a pass, might have been a shot, only he will know it.
There's that high line, nearly backfired for South Melbourne. It's a perfect delivery. Just a poor first touch there from Romero. Didn't judge the flight of it.
Was he caught late? Luke Jego forthcoming with the apologies, but it won't keep him out of the pocketbook. Yellow card brandished by Sam Kelly for the first time this evening.
Was a bit late. Not sure if it's worthy of a yellow card so early in the game, though.
I think he tried to pull out of the challenge, Diego, but not quite in time to avoid the follow-through. When you brandish your studs, you do run the risk. Melts floats another ball in. That's a wasted set piece from South Melbourne. With the possession. Can they pick a way through? Not this time. It's a wayward ball.
So there's a lot of adrenaline pumping through these players in the opening moments of the game. It's wise for Preston probably just to slow things down and settle that heartbeat. You can't blame them. You know, although Preston does play in front of large crowds often, not a vocal atmosphere like tonight. Spoke today, Josh, even our adrenaline's pumping, just commentating the game.
Can't imagine being on the pitch.
Jeez.
As Luke Jego said during the week, these are the games you dream of playing in. I'm sure both sets of players could hardly sleep last night. The excitement. It was 6,500 or thereabouts on a freezing Tuesday night in the Doherty Cup last year. I can comfortably say we've beaten that this evening.
It's a great atmosphere.
Incredible to see the appetite for local football. Negro, heavy pass from Brooks. Yankovic. Mikola. Yankovic hacks it up the line. Bernarda puts his body into Diego and wins the free kick. That's canny work from the Argentinian. Brooks was complaining about the location of the free kick, but South Melbourne took it backwards anyway. See Archibald just trying to make a line-breaking run from midfield. He's a big target in the penalty area. We can get him in there in open play. Negro, Jego, and Payos. Artfully done. And looks for Albano with the switch. That's a magnificent ball. Albano in the 1v1 against Painter Andrews to the byline and into the side netting. John Albano saw his name in lights for a moment.
It was a big opportunity for Preston. What a ball from Payos, though. That's how Preston's going to break down South Melbourne tonight. You can see they're pressing really high, but if they can play out like that, Payos, great turn. What a pass. Albano had every right to go for goal there. Done well initially. Just needs to hit the target from that area.
And a couple of players arriving late in the box as well.
You need to be selfish in that situation. Geez, what a pass. A big night for him too. Emil Payos has got a point to prove to his former employer.
Showing Esteban Quintas what he's missing, perhaps. Just 10 starts last season for South Melbourne. Emil Payos. Jego. Nicely weighted ball. Romero. Did that take a touch on the way through? The referee says yes.
It's much better from Preston. They've needed to move that ball a bit quicker, which they have, and now they're finding pockets in behind the defence. I feel like when they were slowly moving that possession around, it was allowing South Melbourne to set up the way they wanted to. Nearly virtually impossible to break down. Quick movement of passing and runs in behind. They're finding a little bit of joy now. It's a good 5 minutes for Preston.
Injury treatment. South Melbourne player down.
A good time for a bit of a stoppage in play.
Oh, and South Melbourne are preparing an early substitution. Well, this does not look good for Jack Painter Andrews. You can see his disappointment as he went to grounds. And they'll have to reshuffle here as on comes Luca Durso. South Melbourne for the second successive week forced into a substitution through injury. Dangerous delivery into the box and Preston can't direct it goalwards. Payos again with a chance to cross. Hung high towards Bozanovsky. Brooks is waiting, but Yankovic cushions the header back to his debutant goalkeeper.
It's a much better set piece from Preston.
See how South Melbourne reshuffle. Luca Durso, more used to seeing him as a midfielder. But it looks like he's going to have to deputise at right wing back.
It's a big blow to lose Painter Andrews so early in the game. He's also one of the long throw specialists for South Melbourne.
Lovely ball over the top. Leighton Brooks is onside here and Preston are in, but Lampard scrambling back to save South Melbourne's blushes. They were caught out by one ball over the top, and Leighton Brooks should have done so much better there.
I agree, Josh. He's got to do better in that situation. He's caught napping, really. I don't think he expected the ball to come over the top like that. Great scrambling work there from Lampard to get back in time. But, geez, Brooks with the form he's in as well should have done a lot better in that moment.
Lovely find from Ollie Kubalay, by the way. Payos with another corner. Into the danger zone. Bozanovsky was in there. Again, couldn't get a telling touch. Jego going to grounds. Substitute Luca D'Urso had his heart in his mouth for a moment, but the referee uninterested. Now sliding in was Romero. And finally in the chaos, we get a Preston free kick and a massive boil over. Tempers flaring in the melee. This game was a powder keg waiting to explode. It was John Albano who slid in initially.
It was a great challenge, in my opinion, Josh.
And Ross Archibald had a point to make.
It's one way to get the crowd up and about.
Sam Kelly with some sorting out to do. He will enlist the services of his assistant Mark Tito on the far side. Getting reports from the far side of the pitch, Ivka, that Jack Painter Andrews looks to have done a hamstring.
With the 2 weeks off, didn't pay off there.
Archibald getting a talking to. Yellow card for Archibald. Yellow card for Albano. A handshake and we move on.
It's well dealt by the referee. That's why he's brought down, Josh. I'm sure he's well aware that that's probably not going to be the first incident tonight.
Well, it was a Preston free kick that was initially called, so Albano's challenge was a fair one. It was just the reaction in the ensuing brouhaha.
It's fantastic work from Albano. Then South Melbourne were away. That's Albano's specialty, really. He's tracking back. He's blistering pace to get back as well. In the end, one inside a free kick.
Payos. The delivery falls short. Inglese with the header away. Foligno got a touch. Anderson helped it round the corner. Half a shout for handball. Scott, well, tried to do too much there, Colin Scott, and puts it into touch. Inglese. Taking the aerial ball again was Inglese. Foligno sends it back from whence it came. spoken about Pethulis and the pressure on him as a goalkeeper on starting debut for this club who hasn't played at this level before. But what about Dom Felino making his first appearance of the season, starting or otherwise, at left back?
Yeah, well, like you said, these are the games that you live to play for, so no better than that. Time to make a name for yourself.
Romero coming back from an offside position.
Such a hostile atmosphere. I'm loving it, Josh. A bit different to the cup game where I think probably the crowd didn't really expect Preston to get over the line that night, but there's real belief tonight that they can get the 3 points.
Circumstances completely different from last year. And although it finished 5-2, it was still a game up until Aaron Anderson's red card and the 2 late goals from South Melbourne that really put an exclamation point. Durso and Albano. What a battle that's turning into. Fabulous work from John Albano getting back. And the Preston fans in the grandstand absolutely love that industry.
He's up for it tonight. Albano is definitely a confidence player and thrives in environments like this.
For Romero, who manages to play in Jego, and now Leighton Brooks is in an acre of space up against Lampard. Brooks with the back heel, Negro with the cross deflected. It could have gone anywhere. Preston will keep it alive for Albano, going to ground and winning a throw.
Spoken about the battle between Albano and Durso. Brooks and Lampard is another great one. Lampard's really working hard to quiet Brooks on this side. Brooks has had some good moments, but Lampard's dealt with him well so far.
Leighton Brooks gave Dalibor Markovic nightmares in the second half last week. 3 goals in his first 4 games as well. Easy to pinpoint him as a danger man, a difference-making player. It's also great work from Romero to battle with those big bruises at centre-half and get a touch on that, keep the attack going. Mells has the radar up, looking to spot Brennan, but Don Felino is in the way. Kubalay. Albano. Overlap from Kubalay. Cut back to no one in particular. He passed before he looked. Lampard. Nicola under all sorts of pressure in the midfield. Playing narrower than he has traditionally for South Melbourne, Max Nicola, this season. He's taken to that shuttling left midfield role like a duck to water. Mells again trying to split the Preston defence with 1 pass.
They're not having any joys with those long balls tonight, are they, South Melbourne? Numerous attempts to find the ball over the top, but you got man-mounted in Anderson and Bozanovsky at the back for Preston. They'll deal with those balls all day. This is the difficult part for Preston now when they retain possession like this and the game slowed down a little bit.
That initial burst of adrenaline starting to wear off.
Just so hard to break down South Melbourne in passages of play like this, so organised.
Well, the action's happening off the ball at the moment. As players dart left and right, trying to make an angle for a pass into midfield. Preston remaining patient here. South Melbourne deciding not to press the centre halves on this occasion. Albano, well found. Up against Durso. Albano with the trickery. Romero was in there. A crucial touch on the way through from Jankovic. Negro back into the danger zone. South Melbourne, that's their bread and butter. Defending their own 6-yard box, and they've done it effectively again.
It's another good passage of play from Preston. They were calm, didn't rush it. Waited till Albano drifted out wide, found the right pass. Did well, Albano again out wide.
And they're targeting. So with players, Bozanovsky plays it over the top. Romero bearing down Bethulis. On the edge of his box, was never in any danger of losing that one. Having some joy down that flank with Albano against Durso, the makeshift fullback. He's, I believe, a central midfielder by trade, so difficult for such a young player. He's only 19 years old to come in and play out of position, but South Melbourne really don't have a natural fit in that role on the bench.
There's a lot of midfielders on that bench tonight.
Nice touch from Brooks, and he gets the return ball from Kublai. And Preston have numbers to aim for in the box. What a stretch and slide from Marshall. That's why he's best in class when it comes to central defenders in Victoria, the 2023 gold medalist.
It's the difference tonight. You know, in any other game, that's usually a good ball into the area from Brooks, but you need to be 10 out of 10 with your delivery tonight to get past the South Melbourne defence.
Negro. Quick 1-2 with Brooks is offline. Trickles out for a goal kick. Do you think the Preston coaching staff will be happy with how they've responded to the early pressure? They seem to be dictating terms in terms of possession and territory now.
I think so, Josh. In the first 5-10 minutes, it was probably South Melbourne dominating the tempo of the game, but as the half's worn on, Preston's definitely worked their way back into it. No real clear-cut chances for either side, but Preston looking more threatening going forward.
It's a trap you can fall into, though, thinking that match momentum matters at all when South Melbourne are involved. They're happy to sit on the back foot and capitalise on the one or two opportunities that fall their way. Lampard looking for the perfect pass. Brennan has been a relatively peripheral figure. Wanting to get him more involved. Bozanovsky sized up his options. Really didn't want to concede that long throw. Almost better off conceding a corner.
Sometimes you are. The first delivery from Max Mikla wasn't the best, so let's see what he can do with this one.
It's a big pitch here at Jenner Steel Stadium, one of the biggest in Victoria. Can Mikla make the distance? He can. Preston win the first header, crucially. Scrambled by Anderson. Preston would have been drilling this scenario over and over and over again at training this week, but nothing quite replicates this matchday pressure. You can see Bozanovsky is the free man on the 6-yard box there. If anything beats him, Preston are in trouble. Mikla with the long run-up and the long launch. Bozanovsky away. Brennan looking to strike for goal. Anderson with the block, and then Mells fancies his luck and forces a save out of Bon Scott for the first time tonight. I say peripheral with Brennan, but he did have those two early shots in the game. Second chance.
So you find with those plays from South Melbourne, they'll always have a shot in that area. You know, it's never mucking around with the ball and try and cross it back in. It's have a shot on goal, cause some chaos in the penalty box. And it works more often than not for them.
Well, Melbourne Knights paid the price. Earlier derby this season, Negro. Negro for Brooks. Jago wants it between the lines. It's not quick enough from Kubalay. Have a shout for a South Melbourne free kick. Negro tried the back heel for Jago. They weren't quite on the same wavelength. Get it launched was the instruction for Jonathan Pathoulis. In as many words. Bozanovsky wins the header. Archibald. Negro battling with Mikula. Well done by Stefan Negro. And he checks inside just in time. Chaos for Jago. Preston play out of the press. And this is where they can open up the pitch. It's Foligno. The crowd rising behind him. Albano skipping clear, but he's going to run out of room. Luca Durso did well, got a touch. Kubalay. Foligno. Settle for the throw. Romero dropping off the front line. Been forced into the number 9 role. Jason Romero. The suspension of Giorgio Serdenis. No Jonas Markovsky or Xander Guy as well through injury. Oh, Brooks, what a dribble. Cutting it back. Kubalay has his sights set on goal, but it's way off target.
Just panicked there, Josh. He had the celebration lined up in his head already, I think. Just the first touch just got stuck under his foot as he went to hit it. It was off balance, and then obviously just shanked it in the end.
Goodness me, what a move from Leighton Brooks. He had 3 blue shirts around him, and he has put Jordan Lampard on toast there.
Fantastic work from Brooks.
And that's one of the best left backs in the league.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. Lampard's probably had his measure so far tonight, but Brooks definitely got one over him there. Still, you've got to hit the target from there, Kubalay, and he know that with the experience that he's got. They're the moments you need to capitalise on in these big games.
Brooks can be one of those players where he's almost more dangerous when he's surrounded and there's a bit of doubt in the mind of the defenders as to who's making the challenge, and capitalise on that uncertainty. Melts. It's been a very watchable game so far, but precious little in terms of clear-cut chances.
That's what you probably expect in a big game like this, especially in the first half. Both sides feeling each other out. And both will be happy to get into the break 0-0, reassess their options.
Just coming up on half-time here. Fourth official Lucas Mattia fetching the board. Looping ball headed away by Anderson. Archibald. And Bernarda. Durso. No way past Don Foligno, but he does win a corner for South Melbourne. And with 5 of their 7 goals so far this season coming off set pieces, they are lethal from these situations. 3 men on the halfway line for Preston.
It's a demands out timeout, Josh. Good gamble, yeah, but if they do come clean with the ball, they're on. It's 3v3.
Preston fighting fire with fire. Marshall! Bon Scott was off his line. Archibald! And Preston survive. And they get it up in transition quickly enough. They can't.
Got away with that, Bon Scott. Misjudged it in the end. Looked like it was all money to take that cleanly. Just stumbled as he meant to parry it.
Well, credit to South Melbourne. They didn't back down. They're prepared to leave 3v3 here in these situations.
Well, they know this is their most dangerous attack. They'd rather throw numbers forward in these moments.
Preston trying to clear the penalty area of bodies. As Mikola hurls it long. Archibald. Mikola's cross, deflected. Cleared by Anderson. And if the ball breaks for Preston, the counter is on as 4 minutes go up on the fourth official's board to end this first half. Yankovic into a channel. Negro losing out to Bernarda. Bozanovski coming in as the covering defender. Lujatsevski very animated on the touchline. With Jonathan Pethulis, who won't take any chances. And the ball bounces cruelly for Jordan Lampard.
Why he didn't take that before it bounced. You could see that happening. He was so close to the byline.
Stefan Negro getting the hurry up from the referee. Preston feeling that Luke Jego was held. Apologies if you caught some colourful language on the effects mark there. Tensions running high as you might expect. Lampard up the line. Payos away. Yankovic. Anderson flicked on by Kubalay. Jego going down, clutching his head. And Sam Kelly reaching for his whistle.
I'll tell you what, these clearances from Anderson and Bozanovski so far tonight have been excellent. You know, most times at this level, that's where you can get caught out with those headed clearances, only going about 5 or 10 metres, and then you're up against a second phase of play. But Anderson and Bozanovski have just been clearing it 20, 30 metres away from goal.
Goes to the commentator as Anderson toss up possession. Tom Foligno bails him out. And now Preston could have space to attack as Albano sizes up Archibald. Crosses charged down. Now he's got 2 for company in the corner. And that was an impossible situation for Albano. Really industrious tracking back from Ross Archibald. Determined not to leave his young wing back exposed. Cheap turnover from South there.
A lot of these small throws from both sides have been poor tonight. With nervous tension.
Oh, charge down. Noel Bernarda pulling up short. And he's feeling for his groin here, and that could be a hammer blow for South. Surely they struggle through to half-time without making the change, but Preston do put it out of play.
He's in big trouble, Josh.
That immediately looked like a groin strain to me.
There's no way he goes down without being in big trouble. He was away, stole the ball.
Certainly the race would have been on between Bernarda and Bozanovski for that loose ball if he hadn't pulled up short. What a shame to lose Bernarda out of this.
That's a disaster for South Melbourne. There is no direct like-for-like replacement for Bernarda, especially with the way South Melbourne set up the play tonight with that high energy up top.
Wojciechowski seizing the opportunity to give an impromptu team talk. Blood is pumping fast for these players. It's still quite warm out there on the pitch. Perfect weather for the spectators, but it's a real shame for the neutral if Bernarda has to come off, not to mention South Melbourne, because he's such a live wire.
The only positive that can come out of it is there is only seconds away from half-time, so I'll give Esteban Quintas some time to tweak things and probably change the structure of the way they're playing. You imagine Muller will come on in replace of Bernarda.
Wake up, says Esteban Quintas. His players were all sinking back into a huddle almost as the ball is returned to Preston. South Melbourne down to 10 until the break. Surely only got 1 minute left to play in additional time. Or less than that. As Sam Kelly sends both sides into the room scoreless. It's been a complicated first half for South Melbourne. Despite their players being well rested before this fixture, both Jack Painter-Andrews and Noel Bernarda have gone down with what look like muscle injuries. We'll wait for the assessment of Bernarda at half-time to see if South are forced into a second change. But there are some running repairs on this visiting team. Preston, meanwhile, will be content with the way they've defended the set pieces and controlled possession in this first half after a shaky start. Set for a blockbuster second half, you've got.
Definitely are. A lot of work to do for Esteban Quintas at half-time. Look at Bernarda there, his hands in his head, so you imagine he's going to come off, and we'll see a restructure from South Melbourne. Could it be a blessing in disguise for them? Maybe. But for Preston, just keep doing what they're doing, and they'll remain in the contest.
Will it be Gustav Moller, the towering Danish striker who has 2 goals so far this season? We'll wait and see. Take a short break here. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage thus far of this titanic clash. The halftime score at Geneseo Stadium. Preston Lions 0, South Melbourne 0.
Next weekend against Avondale FC on Saturday the 15th of March. That game taking place at Avenger Park in Parkville, which is the old Reggio Columbian Club, with the seniors game kicking off at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's Saturday the 15th of March, kick off at 3 p.m. Then the following week we'll be back home at Geneseo Stadium around 7. It's another big one when we face the Oakland Cannons, with that game being on Friday the 21st of March. And there'll be a double header with the under-23s kicking off at 6:15, followed by the senior game at 8:30 p.m. Also, as a local club, we are proud to celebrate International Women's Day, which is on tomorrow, the 8th of March. Preston Lions want to recognise the incredible achievements and contributions of women across all fields, and particularly within the football community, including the volunteers, executive committee, members, coaches, players and support staff. These dedicated individuals work behind the scenes to ensure the success of the club, fostering a supportive and inclusive environment for all. We believe that the sport holds the potential to empower girls, helping them grow into confident and strong women. Also, now on the ground, as you can see, we have AU Boilers here running a competition with some pre-selected fans, all with the chance to win $300 if they can kick the ball into the bin from the centre circle. And you can check out AU Boilers on all of your socials. Also, just some scores from around the grounds this evening in the NPL. There's 2 other games on at the moment. The first game, current score at the 75th minute mark is Green Gully 0, Dandenong City 3. And the other game this evening, progress score in the first half, 30th minute, Hume City 0, Altona Magic 0. Okay, we won't be too far away from the second half starting, so go have yourself something to eat and drink from the canteens, and we'll be back very shortly with the second half action.
Scoreless at the break at Geneseo Stadium. South Melbourne forced into a second change of the night. It's Rob Harding who replaces the stricken Noel Bernarda after he went down in first half stoppage time with what appeared to be a groin strain. South Melbourne having to run repairs live away from home. That is not how they scripted it at all. And Esteban Quintas made all those changes for Monday night's fixture against St Albans Dynamo. But it's South Melbourne who push forward early. Ross Archibald can't keep it alive. Josh Parrish here alongside Mark Ivkovic. The atmosphere has been sensational. The line for a Kabape roll must be an absolute mile long.
Probably the right move, bringing on Rob Harding instead of Muller. Gives a bit more mobility. You can see Brennan's moved into the sole striking role. It's like a four-man attacking midfield that they've set up with Miles, Harding, Mikola and even Archibald pressing into that front four, and then Brennan leading the top.
Looks like Inglese has joined the midfield. He's been floating between all night, but it's more of a 4-2-3-1 here with George Mells a little more advanced. Rob Harding is, as you say, a dedicated right flanker.
We've read it to more of last year's system, where Brennan playing the Sawyer role.
It's so hard to cope without a player like Noel Bernarda, whose desperation to get on the end of things in the penalty area is second to none. They switch out to Albano. 1v1 against Luca D'Urso again, prompting the overlap from Foligno. Foligno cuts it back towards the penalty spot, and it's easy pickings for Marko Jankovic. Anderson drops it high. Lucas Inglese was always favoured. Bernarda with 12 league goals last season and a hatful more in the cup. He is a massive loss. Mikola. Pick out his man on the far side with the switch. Brooks. Forced back towards his own goal. Both teams attacking their ends in this second half, so we will see some wild scenes if a goal goes in. This is Albano. Offside flag up against John Albano on the far side.
Just made his run way too early then. Foligno looks like he's advancing a bit more in this half, trying to throw numbers forward when they attack.
I understand him being a little conservative to start with, considering he's not stepped on the pitch for Preston so far this season until tonight. Growing into that left-back role. The former Melbourne City products, whose connection with Preston assistant coach Christian Kristevski was crucial in getting him to the club last year. More naturally a right-back, but has the versatility to step across to the opposite flank. Well done by Romero. Kubalay. Terrific ball to find Leighton Brooks. And the decibel meter rises as Brooks goes for goal, but the shot was rising as well.
It's the wrong option there, Josh. Negro made a great run on the outside. Should have just slipped him in. They had numbers in the box as well.
That was a big, big chance for Preston. Two balls on the pitch now.
See a bit of the headlines there, Brooks.
Well, he is in good goal-scoring nick. You can forgive him for having a pop, as you say, in hindsight. Stefan Negro will be very disappointed he wasn't slipped in on the overlap. Fullis doesn't get a lot of ground on that. South Melbourne bench up in arms, looking for the handball. Albano gives away the free kick anyway. Durso. Oh, Durso leaves it short. Jankovic has to step in to clear.
No mucking around there from Jankovic. He's not happy at all.
Well, the 19-year-old has just gotten the spray of all sprays from his centre half. He's wearing the captain's armband tonight. He's taking that responsibility very seriously, Marko Jankovic.
I think he's got every right to be going off there, though. It was a hospital pass across the face. There could have been a big trouble if Jankovic didn't read that properly.
Chaos anywhere will do. It's at the feet of Lampard.
That's what you feel like is going to break this game is a mistake. You can see both sides are so scared not to make one.
Can you blame them?
No, definitely not.
When you've got 8, maybe even 9,000 fans on your back. Every touch must feel very, very weighty. Anderson is looking for Albano.
What if Felino looked up, then Brooks was on again on that far flank. Lampard's really tucking in, very central. Brooks got a lot of space out wide on that right-hand flank.
Preston throw. Albano and Romero getting in each other's way for a moment there. Albano. That pass needed to be perfect. Jankovic was in the way. Anderson leaving a little short, and Negro stepping in. And Glaze pops it upfield, and it will work out well here for Mikola. Lampard flying forward in support. Here goes Max Mikola. Bozanovsky in the way. Not the most convincing of clearances. Jego around the outside. It's beautifully done from Luke Jego. Now Leighton Brooks on the charge, on the forward march. The referee waves that one away immediately.
Didn't look like much was in that one.
I think the issue is that Brooks would never have got to the ball on the other side, regardless of the contact. Encouraged to press. And Glaze keeps his cool. And finds Lampard on the far side. Negro picking off the pass. Every touch, every jewel. Game feels like trench warfare right now. Oh, Bethoulis! As he coughed it up! Was he holding the Preston striker? It's a spot kick! And a nightmare for the debutant goalkeeper! The red card is out! Jonathan Bethoulis is off on South Melbourne's starting debut. And he just couldn't handle the pressure from Jason Romero.
Wow. He had plenty of time to deal with that. Bethoulis. We will not want to watch that back.
We'll have few arguments about it.
Even when Romero stolen the ball off him there, Josh, he still had time to make a challenge and get the ball back off him.
He could have slid in for the ball there, and he went for the man instead.
Look, there's, like we said, a lot of adrenaline pumping. And, his heart would have sunk then when the ball got stolen off him. He just panicked.
And now South Melbourne turn to their third string goalkeeper. It's Jake Charleston. who will come on for his debut.
Wow, that's a big swing in momentum now for Preston. Massive moment coming up.
We said they'd miss Javi Lopez. We never thought it would be like this.
No. He looks so composed in the first half before this.
He's tried to go and beat Romero in his own box. Just as we said, players weren't taking needless risks.
Very, very unnecessary, Josh. That's just an experience there. You've got to feel for the youngster.
Well, Esteban Quintas is berating the fourth official here. And he is shown a yellow card. Well, South Melbourne still have 11 players on the park here, so they have to substitute someone. Moment of madness. South Melbourne still have 11 players on the park here by my count, Mark Ivkovic.
The officials seem to be aware of it, but they're not doing anything about it.
Oh, well, the officials have to get on top of this. And now South Melbourne do make the change. Well, very hard to communicate when it's this noisy inside Geneseo Stadium. It's Lucas Inglesi, who is the unlucky man, substituted. And John Albano will step up from the spot at long last. Jake Charleston, with his first contribution for South Melbourne, faces a spot kick. Albano to give Preston the lead. Oh, how about that? The Panenka on the biggest stage of all.
Well, we said he was a big game player, Josh, and he's definitely lived up to that. It takes big courage to do that in a big moment. John Albano, that's off to you, son. Great finish.
The audacity, the temerity to pull that out on the biggest stage. John Albano, you are a showman.
Tell you what, Josh, I've worked with him for 5 years. And I've never seen him do that before. So what a moment to pull that out of your party trick bag. Geneseo Stadium has erupted.
It's been a long time since we heard a roar like that in Victorian football, Ivka.
Wow, what a moment. Jeez. What a horrible week for South Melbourne. It's just going from bad to worse. We saw the debacle on Monday night. Then you lose Painter Andrews and Bernardes for injury in the first half. And then Pathoulis coming in for the injured Javi Lopez. A big mistake. South Melbourne down to 10 men. Jeez, if Esteban Quintas is ever going to earn his money, it's going to be tonight. Preston need to carry this momentum for the next 10-15 minutes. They need to smell the blood and really go for the kill.
Ivka, I have a crowd figure for you. 9,036.
Jeez. That's massive, Josh. You'd say 8,000 of them are loving it right now.
Albano. Oh, a handball from Durso. Well, he escapes a booking. The free kick will be paid.
I'll tell you what, Durso's got his work cut out for him now, because Albano's blood will be pumping. He'll be going for everything now. You can see he's up and about.
I still can't believe he chipped it. I still can't believe it.
Like I said, I've known him for a long, long time, and I've never seen him do it in training on a match day. So I don't know where he's been keeping that one.
Offside against Albano.
It's such a risky move to take that penalty that way, isn't it, Josh? You know, when it works, it looks incredible, but if it backfires...
And Preston have a rubbish record from spot kicks. Last week, Jason Romero denied by Yaron Souza, but even the last 2 years, Preston have barely been able to put a spot kick away. Oh, and that's a worrying sign as a Preston player goes down, holding his head. I think there's a potential concussion here.
Is it Payos?
I think it might be Emil Payos. Oh dear. Oh, I don't think it's a head injury, actually. Yeah. Just from the way he went down. Oh, he's fallen awkwardly here. Come down on it. Almost off balance, and that's a really worrying sign for any player. Payos has been magnificent for Preston so far this season. Very composed tonight. Lujatsevski will make his first change, and it's an enforced one.
It doesn't look good for him, Josh.
It wasn't a contact injury either, so we hope it's not what it looks like.
He's been having such a good season. New life under Preston. It's the issue with big games like this, Josh. You've got so much adrenaline pumping through your body that your body just can't cope with it sometimes. We've seen soft tissue injuries throughout the game so far tonight. It's just that adrenaline. Your body's just gone into shock.
He just came down awkwardly, stumbling backwards. I don't know if it's a knee or an ankle, but this does not look good at all for Emil Payos. Noah Spasevski is going to come on. It's a big night for him. He's been through all 3 A-League academies here in Melbourne. Going down under the challenge of Archibald. Now the 10 men of South Melbourne have their work cut out for them. They've had so many stoppages in this second half. The injury, the penalty, the red card, the goal. It's really broken up the rhythm of this affair. Maybe it gives South Melbourne a moment to regroup.
Debut though for Jake Charleston. You won't be forgetting this one in a hurry.
Foligno. Bozanovski. Negro. Finding Jego. Spasevski almost with his first contribution. Well smothered by the young goalkeeper.
They'll give him a lot of confidence. He did well. We said this game could be won off a mistake, and geez, I think we got that one right, Josh.
Certainly did.
You've got a feel for this though. It's going to be hard for him to get over that over the next few days. It's a horrible moment for him.
Happens at all levels of football, as we know. Albano getting to the byline. Spasevski! He was inches away. Preston could have put the game away there.
Great work by Albano again down the left-hand side. Durso's really struggling to keep up with him. Fantastic ball across the face. Spasevski outstretched leg. Just inches wide.
Kubalay up. Romero feeding it through for Albano. He's got his tail up now. Albano looking for the gap. Shout from the crowd for handball. Brooks blasted over. Wave after wave of Preston pressure.
Needed to go on the outside of Marshall in that situation, Albano. There's a lot of space there. Durso again is caught out by Albano's pace.
There's a lot of dialogue going on between the South Melbourne players and bench. They seem at 6s and 7s right now.
Yeah, they're definitely rattled. I don't think they saw this coming.
Kubalay wins the header. Durso. Ball drops for Kubalay again. Romero on the stretch, can't get there. Brennan. Foligno lost the ball in flights. Harding. Still Harding. Goes down. South Melbourne are baying for a card. They're saying Matt Bozanovski was showing studs. Have another look at that challenge. Bozanovski saying it was a knee. Difficult to tell. It's just going to be a yellow card for Matt Bozanovski.
Looked like a 50-50 challenge to me, Josh. They both threw their leg into it. Bozanovski obviously double the size of Harding.
There's been some crunching collisions tonight.
Expect no less in a game like this.
Preston have not defeated South Melbourne since June 2008. To put that in perspective, Preston head coach Louis Jacevski was between the sticks the last time that happened.
Jeez. What were you doing in 2008, Josh?
I was in year 8. The last time Preston beat South at this venue was 1987.
I wasn't even born back then.
Ange Postecoglou was in the starting South Melbourne lineup. We could be set for some history. Not if South Melbourne have anything to say about it. Bon Scott with a brave punch.
That's great goalkeeping from Bon Scott. Made up his mind straight away that he was going to claim that ball. A little bit unorthodox in the way he did it, but didn't hesitate from it.
4 Preston players waiting on halfway. South Melbourne send as many bodies forward as they can spare. Mikola. A long launch. It's a good one too. Preston forced to cough up a corner.
You know what, credit to the Preston coaching staff. I think this is probably the best way of seeing these South Melbourne long throws dealt with. Put the pressure back on them, throw numbers forward so they can't bombard that box. Still a slight risk, but there's less numbers in there, less to deal with.
Preston have a 3-on-2 and halfway at the moment. South Melbourne have to roll the dice. Max Mikola is a spare man inside the box. It's George Mells to float it in. Archibald up for it. Can't connect. Ooh, and now it's a lung-busting run from Kubalay. Oh, sliding challenges coming in, but Preston break loose. They're still going forward here. Romero can't set his body right. Luke Jego did so well in the lead-up. Romero just couldn't shape his body to take the strike when he needed to.
It's good scrambling from South Melbourne to get back just in time.
It's going to kill these tired players, though. The 10 men having to race back after every set piece.
Fortunately for them, they've had 2 weeks off, Josh. So I'm sure they won't run out of legs.
Well, not Jake Marshall and Marko Jankovic, who are up in the box for every throw and every corner. But they've racked up the GPS stats as far as centre-backs go today. Charleston. Oh, that's a nervy pass. Albano latches onto the loose ball. Has to slide to keep it alive. Well done by Marshall. It's going to be a free kick. South Melbourne bench up in arms. Jake Marshall didn't make too much of a big deal about that one.
No, I think Albano lost his footing more than anything in that moment. Tried to pull out of it.
Still a foul. Jankovic. Lampard for Marshall. Luca D'Urso runs out of room. Now, how long before we see Gustav Moller as the break glass in case of emergency target man?
I'd say we'll see him very shortly. It's warming up now.
Jago getting free. Tries to play a very difficult ball.
Still a fair chunk of time left in the game though, Josh, so can't get too desperate. But you can imagine if it stays 1-0, closer to the 85th minute, South Melbourne will just throw everything at Preston.
They do have to time their run and not get picked off on the counter-attack too soon.
Especially whilst Albano and Brooks still have enough energy to break the pace.
Melts. Anderson. Jankovic. Skews wide off his left boot. Negro. Ball drops straight to George Mells, but he can't find a teammate. Bozanovsky. Preston have to be careful here about sinking too deep and sitting on their lead.
They need to stay on the front foot, try and get the second goal and seal the game.
Spasevsky. Great touch from Noah Spasevsky. He's under very little pressure though. Finding Romero. Jason Romero hooks it to the back post for Jego, who cheeks inside. Jego on the stretch. Archibald is down, touching a leg, but springs back up quickly when the foul isn't paid.
As if his touch was better in that moment, Jego.
Spasevsky finding Steph Negro. Whipping ball to the back post is away by D'Urso and then Harding. Preston preparing a double change. Marcus Strowen and Connor Bell about to come on. Jago will relinquish the captain's armbands and take his leave. And so too Jason Romero. What do you make of those changes?
I think that's probably the right time to bring Schroen and Bell on for Romero and Jeko. You can see Jeko in that last attacking phase just looked a little bit heavy. It was his first start this season, so fair chunk of football. And Romero's worked hard all night dealing with Yankovic and Marshall, so a bit of fresh legs with Schroen up top. And the main man, Connor Bell.
Bell has returned to action, greeted by a warm cheer from the Preston faithful. And he's come back off the bench last week against Heidelberg, South Melbourne venture forwards, and win another corner.
Looks like Bell's going to play up top, Josh. Schroen just sit in the middle of the park and control the tempo.
Bell played a crucial role in the equalising goal last week, winning the ball back for Luke Jago to score. His pace on the break could be a game breaker. Another lofted delivery. Bozanovsky away well. Schroen finding Spiseski. Albano holding his run this time. Still John Albano. He's got numbers in support here. Finding Bell, whose first touch was a little askew, but he sets himself for the strike and just drags it wide. Well, Mr. Van Quintas arguing that was offside.
Barno timed his run to perfection then.
You just sense a little lack of sharpness from Bell there. His first touch away from goal. South Melbourne still didn't get a player in front of him, but the shot lacked purchase.
It's been a couple of moments like that in the last few minutes where Preston have had the ball and no one's closed down the attacking player, allowing Preston to have a few shots. And really need to close down the shot before they're able to get it off.
Well, that's good refereeing, I think. Not popular with the home crowd, but Sam Kelly waiting for the advantage. Mikkola was fouled.
Just got to be careful here, Preston. They're giving away a few fouls and set pieces. Probably South's best avenue to goal tonight. Although they have dealt with the set pieces very well so far.
Archibald, Yankovic, Marshall, the obvious targets as Mells lines this one up. Bozanovsky, hasn't he been a tower of strength tonight? Mells. Preston get it away. Now Connor Bell, it's an awkward bounce. Couldn't get it under his spell. And it's back with Charleston. Connor Bell urged to press the young goalkeeper. Here's his lines in time. Anderson wants to knock it back to Bon Scott. Slightly awkward clearance off the left boot. Mells looking for Rob Harding. Second ball won't drop for Mikkola.
It's an awkward pass from Anderson. Could have played him much earlier. Gave Bon Scott a bit more time to deal with it.
To the bobble as well. Ends up back with George Mells. Looks for the long switch again. Picking out Andy Brennan. Durso up in support now. Well, artfully done by Brennan. And here goes Durso. He can't keep the cross in play.
They've created nothing in the second half, South Melbourne. Really struggling to penetrate this Preston Lions defence. Bozanovsky and Anderson have been immense all night.
Schroen. Preston have been a little sloppy with some of their attacking chances, just lacking a little bit of cutting edge and precision. It could be away and clear by now.
Again, I think it's the occasion getting to him at times, Josh. Everyone wants to score tonight and be the hero.
And now you've got something to lose. Archibald. Brennan getting free. Brennan low into the box. Well done by Anderson. Trowan with plenty of time. Albano. Darting infield. Brooks wants it on the far side. Leighton Brooks! Leighton Brooks brings the house down! He cannot stop scoring! And that goal will feel sweeter than all the rest combined.
That was horrible defending from South Melbourne. Great work by Albano. Fantastic pass to find Brooks, but Lampard was all over the place. And we mentioned how much space Brooks was having out on that right-hand side. Albano's perfect pass to find him. What a finish.
Geneseo Stadium is rocking to its foundations here. South Melbourne immediately turn in for the double change. Jack Pope and Gustav Muller coming on. And the substitute, Luca D'Urso, will be withdrawn as well as Ross Archibald. And that's got to hurt for the young player.
He struggled the last 20 minutes, really. Albano's destroyed him, Josh. Something had to give.
Leighton Brooks is quickly reaching Preston Colt hero status with this goal-scoring run he's on. 4 in his first 5. He hasn't always been the most dominating player out there in these games, but he just has these moments.
And probably out of all the attacking signings that Preston made in the off-season, he was probably one that flew under the radar a little bit. Yes, obviously great A-League experience, but wasn't a household NPL name like Markowski, Romero, Xander Guy, Albano. But he's been the main man out of all of them.
Here goes Leighton Brooks. He's fell from behind. The referee felt he lost his balance before the contact came from Pope. And a little flare up here involving Spaseski and Pope. That only riles the crowd up even further.
They're losing control of this one, South Melbourne. You can see the frustrations coming out on the bench and on the pitch as well. Albano loves playing against South Melbourne.
2 yellow cards dished out once again for Spaseski and Jack Pope.
Albano's had some big moments versus South Melbourne over the years, particularly the 95th minute winner when he was at the Melbourne Knights. Always seems to score against them.
And he's late on the second goal as well. He has been brilliant tonight. Bell. Muller being held. And the whistle does go for South. Melts. Looking for Lampard. Yankovic being hassled and harried by Bell. Preston fans didn't appreciate Yankovic's reaction. Brennan. Another free kick for South Melbourne. Quickly taken this time by Melts. Funneled out to Brennan. Early delivery is straight to Kubalay. Andy Brennan. Great delivery. Muller was in there. He was flying towards the ball. And appealing for a spot kick as well.
Yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures, Josh. Kind of Negro's thigh.
Barno giving one away. Mikola going for goal from all 40 metres.
I think that sums up South Melbourne's night tonight.
I mean, it all swings on the red card and the penalty. Double jeopardy for Jonathan Pathoulis.
Yeah, definitely changed the game. I said that Lopez was probably the biggest out for South Melbourne. The proof was in the pudding, really. You wouldn't think Lopez would have made that same mistake. It would have been a different ball game.
Molino. A rapturous reaction, greeting Preston's every foray forward. Bell can't connect. It's off Lampard and away. Muller. No way past Anderson. But Andy Brennan pounces on the scraps, and it's flicked on well by Muller. And Jack Prope is free in the middle. But Max Mikola can't force the ball through. Kubalay back the other way. Schroen, the former South Melbourne favourite, now wearing the Preston armband. Preston have a player down hurt. They don't care. They're going for goal here. Albano. Tom Foligno is struggling. That's the goal scorer, Brooks. Jinking to the byline, away by Yankovic. And he's had to hobble back to his feet, Foligno, because his teammates wouldn't put it out of play. Now we will get an injury stoppage.
He's worked his socks off tonight, Foligno.
I think it's just cramp. I mean, you can understand he's not played a minute this season. Not the first team, anyway.
Very comfortable out there, though.
I suppose squad players deputising in slightly different roles. Tom Foligno has done everything asked of him and then some tonight. Brandon Lawton will be the next Preston player introduced. Jake Tchaikovsky dusting himself off as well. Tchaikovsky will play as a makeshift left back. And Leighton Brooks, the goal scorer, takes his leave as well.
Another great performance from Brooks. Loving life at Preston.
Can't seem to put a foot wrong. Luitzevsky still had a few pointers for him as he came off.
He's probably thinking, leave me alone, man. I just want in the game.
All in good fun, I think. There are smiles and laughs on the Preston bench. Pope penalised for holding Schroen. Well, the only sour note for Preston tonight is the fate of Emil Payos as 8 minutes go up on the fourth officials board. Got a lot of stoppages in this second half. It's a big number. Maybe, just maybe, a glimmer of hope for South Melbourne.
Anything's possible, but geez, they've only had really one striker goal all game. George Mel's shot earlier in the first half.
If they get one, you never know. Especially once those nerves set in. Strowman. Scrapping and clawing for every loose ball at the moment. Albano has a touch. Not too bad as it turns out. As we get confirmation of that attendance figure, 9,036 packed in to Geneseo Stadium tonight. IFCA, it's been a fabulous occasion for Victorian football, but who's been your player of the match?
Can't go past John Albano tonight. His work rate both going forward and in defence. Obviously scoring that beautiful penalty. Great assist for the second goal. He's the clear standout for me. And that's why Preston signed him as well for these big moments. He's always been a big game player. Felt like he needed a change away from Summers Street. Started to stagnate a little bit in his last season. Seems like he's adapted well to the Preston environment. Found a new lease of life, which he probably needed.
And he had a setback on the eve of the season as well. Match day -1 before round one. Pulled up sore, so... spark between Mikola and Negro. We've had firecrackers going off all over the place tonight.
It's been a great atmosphere though. This is what it's all about, Josh. Great advertisement for not just Victorian football, Australian football in general. They've put on a great show, the Preston Lions. A really well organised event.
Scott launches it up the line.
I said it during the week, Josh, if South Melbourne did to get all 3 points tonight, that they're going to become under real big pressure and big question marks are going to be asked of Esteban Quintas. With, they took the gamble on Monday night to rest all these players, and it's really backfired, probably more than we ever thought it would.
I can't imagine this game going much worse in South Melbourne's worst nightmares.
It's just gone horribly wrong.
Injuries, a red card. And they're on the verge of a defeat away to their biggest rivals.
After virtually throwing a game on Monday night, it's been a horror week for the club.
Charleston. The crowd bearing down on him. Credit to the young man. He's been playing in the reserve side last week and suddenly thrust onto the big stage.
I don't think he would have had any idea that he'd be coming on playing in this game tonight.
He's acquitted himself reasonably well as well.
It's just funny the way football works. Lopez comes out injured on Monday night, and then finally Pathulis gets his opportunity and then sees red. You've got your third choice keeper playing.
Tchaikovsky.
Just can't help but feel you create your own luck sometimes as well, Josh, and your own bad luck. I feel like if South Melbourne played their regular 11 against St Albans, would tonight have gone a bit differently? My thought process is that it probably would have.
That's why we're the armchair experts.
But you take a risk, you know, you've got to come out tonight and perform, and they really haven't. Even with 11 men, they really offered little going forward. The first 10 minutes they looked good, but besides that, it's been all Preston.
Tchaikovsky. Albano. 4, now 5 in the box for Preston. No way past. Well defended by Rob Harding.
This place is about to go off, Josh.
The fans packed into the grandstand. The sardine can, as it is tonight, will never, ever forget this one. It's been so long since they beat South Melbourne. It's been a lifetime since they beat South Melbourne here at BT Connor.
Credit's got to go also to the Preston board for the massive turnaround over the years.
There's been a long route back for Victoria's Lazarus Club.
They've worked so hard to get to this moment. They've got every right to enjoy it. The last time they played in the league, it was a 7-1 defeat.
South Melbourne end slowly starting to empty out. Preston end will be partying long into the night here at the ground across the road at the Social Club.
Well, it sets up a mouth-watering contest next week for Preston. Top of the table clash against Avondale.
Should be an absolute barn burner. South Melbourne, it's back to the drawing board. 30 seconds to play. Albano. Breezes past Harding. Albano into the box. Connor Bell was waiting. Free as a bird. South Melbourne pump it forward in the direction of Gustav Moller, who's had precious little service since he's come on. Oh, it's kept in. And that is full time. Preston Lions defeat South Melbourne at this venue for the first time since 1987. A history-making night in so many ways. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong for South Melbourne on the road. 2 injuries in a shocking first half, and an all-time blunder from the backup keeper Jonathan Pathoulis, who was red-carded. Preston have pounced at the perfect moment. John Albano with an impudent chip from the penalty spot before he teed up Leighton Brooks for his 4th goal in 5 games in Preston colours. A night no Preston supporter will ever forget. A famous win over their oldest rival. The final score at Geneseo Stadium is Preston Lions 2, South Melbourne 0. Mark Ivkovic, what an occasion and what a result for the home side.
Definitely, Josh. Well-deserved 3 points for Preston. Again, remain undefeated. It's a great start to the season. They really dominated the game, especially once the red card happened and they took the lead. It was all Preston Lions. Geez, South Melbourne again, another failure in a big game. A lot of work to do to rectify the situation they found themselves in. Football can change very quickly. You know, they had a good start to the season, and then in the space of a week, it's all fallen apart disastrously for them. Preston look forward to next week, going to Avondale. It's another big opportunity for them to make another statement as they have tonight. But until then, they'll enjoy tonight. lap it up, and so they should.
9,000 in attendance. And this place will be pumping long into the night. For South Melbourne, some serious questions to be asked. The reigning premiers and Doherty Cup champions at a crossroads. We'll leave you with these scenes. I've been Josh Parrish. Mark Ivkovic, a pleasure to have your company tonight, mate.
As always, Josh, loved every minute of it tonight. It was a fantastic occasion and a great contest.
We could barely hear ourselves thinking here. The final score once again, in front of 9,000, is Preston 2, South Melbourne 0.